Another beautiful woman in the Zoom room. Chris, let me go and bring it up because also the Miss Queen of the Pacific pageant is coming up, and joining us right now in the Zoom room we have Her Majesty Trinity Hufana. Half a day. Oops, let me unmute you there real quick. One sec. There we are now. Half a day. How are you?
Still kicking.
Yeah. So it's been a while. Tell all of our viewers about the Queen of the Pacific pageant.
So the Queen of the Pacific pageant was actually the pageant that started Leia's Fabulous Productions. It caters more towards the trans and LGBTQ community, where individuals can compete in several categories to win the title. It's been around for, I'm the 8th queen, so that would be 8 years now.
Yeah, it has. I was gonna say, last year, of course, was pretty crazy, and we weren't able to do it. But I remember, doing the profiles and doing interviews with Queen of the Pacific. I mean, it is always such a positive, wonderful event. It's fun for everybody. So, how many contestants are there this year?
We started out with 5, but unfortunately only 4 were able to compete on the coronation night. So it was down to the final 4.
Okay, you know what? That's just more time for the final 4. We really get to know the pageant contestants. So maybe tell us something, just generally speaking, a little bit about the contestants. Who they are, and what they represent, and why they really want to enter this pageant.
From this round of contestants.
Mm-hmm.
So from this round of contestants, I competed against 3 other women, 3 other contestants. One of the girls, she actually just moved to Guam last year from Germany as a military dependent, and she was contestant number 1. She represented Germany. Contestant number 2 was actually our youngest girl in our batch. She's still a student, and she was very strong about advocating towards the teen movements. And the last girl I competed against was Miss Jessica St. Nicholas, and she is a pageant veteran.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to ask Your Majesty if we could real quick and everything like that, because I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't get a proper shot of your tiara and your sash. So can you maybe just scoot back in your chair a little bit just so we can see both of them? Hey, wow. That is lovely. That's
sash.
Very nice. How do you what honor has it meant to you to be able to be considered Queen of the Pacific?
This was actually the second time I tried to compete for the title. So this time around, it really meant a lot because we were going through COVID and stuff like that, and the restrictions were very severe, and we kind of had to navigate how to present a pageant to the public, in person. So being able to be crowned one of the first queens from a live pageant here in Guam, it kind of meant a lot. And I had a lot of my family and supporters who I work with and friends who were there, and it was an overwhelming feeling when they called my name for the queen title.
Mm-hmm. Now it's almost poetic justice, and this is so wonderful. I know you're absolutely the right person for this, but not only do you wear the crown on your head, but you also bear a lot of responsibility now on your shoulders as an ambassador, as an educator, for our island, for our culture, and for the LGBT community. So how do you approach that responsibility now, and what would you like to do in getting the word out?
In one word?
Yeah.
How would I approach that responsibility in one word? Is that your question?
Or as many words as you want. You're royalty for a reason. So who am I to stand in the way of a queen?
Well, let me just fall back to my pageant answer, from pageant night.
Oh, please, yes, perfect.
I would approach the responsibility with nothing but kindness. I think a lot of people misunderstand the LGBTQ community, and sometimes it just takes that little act of kindness to get them to open up just a little bit so that they can educate themselves a little bit more. When it comes to dealing with people who don't necessarily understand the choices we make in our lives and stuff like that, sometimes an open ear when it comes to kindness is all you need.
Now, I've been fortunate. I've hosted like probably like a handful of beauty pageants in my day. Were you nervous when you gave your answer?
Was I nervous on pageant night?
Yeah, some people are completely comfortable. Other people just can't wait for it to be over. Other people are like, oh, you know, like I'm shaking in my boots. But like, what was your mindset?
For me, pageants are something that I enjoy doing. This was actually the fourth one that I competed in, and I also performed weekly with the Untouchables on Thursday nights. So going into the pageant, I kind of had the mindset to just have fun, and it's another performance per se, and just give the audience good energy. So I think for the most part, the nerves weren't really about being on stage. It was more so about getting to the stage.
Okay.
Like the preparations for all the categories and making sure that your visions are coming true with what you're going to present on stage. That was where the nerves were at. It wasn't necessarily on the stage itself. It was more so the journey to the stage.
Well, let me ask you another pageant question here, Your Majesty. How would you describe Guam to someone who's never been here, and maybe even someone that says, you know, I consider myself LGBTQ. I've read about Guam maybe on Wikipedia. I've seen it on Google. I hear wonderful things about it. But I'm wondering, if I move to Guam and everything like that, how will I be treated? How will I be accepted? You know, like what opportunities are there for me? And maybe like even what challenges do I still, you know, have to face? And that's a hard decision to make. How would you respond to that?
The beautiful thing about our island is, for the most part, our community is very accepting. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. For the most part, our island is very accepting of all walks of life. And for anybody who's in the LGBTQ community who's planning to come to Guam, you know, we do have a strong fan base as far as our show is concerned, as far as the pageants are concerned. They're very accepting. And it really would surprise you, especially coming from, you know, sometimes our Manampu, we would think that they'll be very, you know, judgmental set of the traditional ways, but a lot of the times they're the ones who are very supportive of the things that we do. So it's basically all about the holiday culture that we cultivate here on Guam. It's all about being family rooted and making sure that everyone feels that holiday spirit. So I wouldn't say it's so much of an issue for LGBT members to come to Guam, because we don't really face a lot of the struggles as far as like hate crimes and violence are concerned, in regards to all the other places around the world who do experience it. So that's the positive aspect to it. But if you're a trans individual, the biggest challenge we face here on our island is that we don't really have specialists who specialize in the corrective surgeries that we would elect, or we do have a doctor who is very knowledgeable on trans hormone therapy, but there's just not enough specialists to cater to the lifestyle.
That's a beautiful answer. That was you couldn't have said it any better. That was so good. And that's the one thing that I know I've kind of like personally felt is, I think as much as we appreciate, you know, the spirit of Inafamalik on Guam, sometimes I think it has a tendency to be misunderstood, or they say, you know, you can only have and take responsibility for Inafamalik, you know, if you're native Chamorro, or if you've lived on Guam your entire life, or if you're Catholic, or if you're straight. It's like, no, Inafamalik is for all of us to enjoy and to share, and it's for all of us to take responsibility for and practice every single day of our life. It doesn't matter who you are or how long you've been here, and that is what makes Guam so special.
Exactly.
Wow, maybe that was my pageant answer.
I think you're ready.
Well, I know the Chris Barnett's here now, Your Majesty, and hey, the heavy hangs the head that wears the crown, as they say, but it's on a very, very beautiful and capable head right now, and so, you know, we are so. One more time. Okay, everybody watching on Facebook, make sure to screen one more time, please. That's a glamour shot. Yeah, nice.
Settle down, girl. Family show.
Yeah. No, but what you are classy and you are gracious, and we're very, very happy to have you as an ambassador for who we are and everything like that. You're a valued member of our community, and we're so pleased to have you.
Come back anytime. Bring some friends. Queen of Trinity, Miss Queen of the Pacific. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much.
Have a wonderful day. Hey, Biba Jigo.
You too.
Hey.
Hey, all right. All right, take care. Have a great weekend.
Good morning, 9:54. Let's just jump right into the One Micronesia podcast sneak peek.